Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Extreme Hardware. I got a joke for you. What's huge? Has 440mm fans and has glass all over. The Corsair iCUE 7000X RGB. Let's jump right in and see what it's all about. So while SFF cases seem to be all the rage right now, Corsair seems to have taken a different direction and launched their 4000, 5000, and 7000 series of mid and full tower PC cases. Having two versions of each, the 4000D, 5000D, and 7000D are all focused on airflow, while the 4000X, 5000X, and 7000X are more aesthetically pleasing with tempered glass on all three sides, as well as, yep, you guessed it, RGB with iCUE software integration. So here is the iCUE 7000X RGB in all its glory. Priced at a whopping $329 USD, let's find out if it deserves your hard-earned cash. So where do I start with the iCUE 7000X RGB? Well, I'm super glad that Corsair sent over the white model. It's just freaking gorgeous. Black is so bleh. But I gotta tell you, this thing is a big boy with enough room to fit multiple 420 or 480mm radiators. Corsair isn't fooling around. What I do find interesting, since Corsair has launched their own line of custom water cooling gear, is all I could find is a couple seconds of video on the product page. You would think with a case this big, which has the room for cooling that the 7000X has, this would have been a focus. Now, build quality is nothing short of great here. Corsair really has built up a name for themselves, in which they pride themselves on quality, and the 7000X RGB does not disappoint. The whole chassis feels very solid, very well built, which should last for several builds to come. Tempered glass is at a trifecta, with the top, side, and front panels all being occupied by thick 4mm tempered glass with no tint, but having a white outline. The top panel has a gray rubber Corsair branding tag, as well as a yellow one on the inside dust filter below. I also want to point out that the attention to detail here. The side tempered glass panel has two gray rubber strips on the top and bottom to help dampen the impact when shutting the side panel. To me, this is a really smart design choice, especially with such a large tempered glass pane, not to mention that tempered glass adds some serious weight to an already heavy design. Front I/O is also very good on the 7000X. 4 USB 3.0 Type A ports, as well as a USB 3.1 Type C port, and a combo headphone mic jack flanked by the power and reset buttons are on the very top. Now, Corsair being Corsair loves RGB lighting. They got RGB in just about everything they produce. Hell, I would go far as saying is if you were looking for some RGB fans, Corsair would be at the top of that list. Not because of the awesome RGB implementation that's controlled with iCUE, but because they're already one of the best for air and water cooling alike. So having four included 140mm fans, the SP140 RGB Elites, which cost $70 USD for a 2-pack, means there is a $140 USD value in just fans alone. Moving to hardware support, the 7000X supports pretty much all motherboard sizes, including eATX. However, I take that one with a grain of salt depending on the sidewall configuration. That said, I wouldn't put a mini ITX motherboard in the 7000X like some other publications I've seen. The motherboard tray, unfortunately, is not removable or invertible, something competitors have also done for less money. GPU length, however, should not be a concern here either, unless you are mounting a monster rad, as I see this as a non-issue. The basement PSU area is an interesting design choice. Included with the 7000X as well as the 5000 series are two swappable PSU plates. This allows for a much cleaner look if more room is needed. However, if the low profile plate is used, the first of the two 3.5-inch hard drive cages, which house three 3.5-inch hard drives each, must be removed. Same thing goes for a longer than normal PSU, which also does not have a removable bracket. The other 3.5-inch hard drive cage must be removed to accommodate a longer PSU. So in reality, both hard drive cages would have to be sacrificed if using a high-end PSU and extreme water cooling. But the question here lies, who still uses internal 3.5-inch hard drives? I know I don't. SSD or 2.5-inch drive storage, on the other hand, is pretty decent, with 3 quick disconnect mounts on the backside of the motherboard tray. Continuing on the backside, which is mostly sectioned off with panels, offers a way to contain the cable mess that often ensues. Once inside, the door, which can be easily removed by lifting up, shows the very nicely done cable routing sections, as well as the included Commander Core XT smart controller. Controlling up to 6 fans and RGB lighting for each, the Commander Core XT can also monitor temperatures and even tie into other iCUE enabled products. Also included is a separate fan hub with an additional 6 PWM fan controllers in case you need to make sure you occupy all 12 120mm or 7 140mm fan slots in the 7000X RGB. Which brings me back to water cooling support. Again, very little reference is made from Corsair other than a little product video on the page description. However, radiator capacity is actually something to be proud of here. If 120mm radiators are used, up to 3 simultaneous 360mm radiators can be used, one in the roof, side, and front. If 140mm is more your style, then 2 simultaneous 420mm radiators can be used, one in the roof and one in the front. I should also note that you can fit a 480mm radiator in the front and side locations if a single large radiator is desired. Building on the water cooling topic, Corsair has made things easier. Both the top, side, and front panel sections can be completely removed for a much easier radiator install and fan installation. This feature is very much welcomed. Now, how about we put in a system in here and test some thermals and noise levels? I'm not going to go easy on the 7000X, so my current workstation is going in there for a while. The test system, which is an AMD Ryzen Threadripper 3970X CPU, the MSI Creator TRX40 motherboard, T-Force Delta R 3200 MHz 4x8GB kit of DDR4, NVIDIA's RTX 2080 Super FE model, Corsair's MP600 Pro XT 2TB PCIe 4.0 M.2 SSD. Review for that is coming soon. Corsair iCUE H150i RGB Pro XT liquid CPU cooler, and EVGA's P2 750W PSU. Alright guys, the build is complete, and I gotta say, building in the Corsair iCUE 7000X RGB had great moments as well as WTF ones. I mean, the things that Corsair did right were really right. Things like excellent water cooling support, the 4 included SP140 Elite fans, the Commander Core XT, and as well as the removable sections allowing for a much easier building process. Things I thought that were missed, like only having 2 cable grommets, which would have made cabling much cleaner. Also not having a removable PSU bracket really is a bit of a nitpick, but it's really a nice feature to have. However, in such a big case, I guess I can overlook that. Corsair includes this nifty vertical PCIe adapter, not to mention having 3 adjacent slots for mounting your GPU vertically, which is pretty sweet. But another miss here is not including a PCIe Gen 4 riser cable to go along with the extra mounting options, especially at the high price point of $329.99. So in the end, is the Corsair iCUE 7000X RGB worth it? Well, that's up to you. If you look at Corsair's pricing, the 7000D has a MSRP of $259.99, which is exactly the difference in the top and front tempered glass panels from the 7000X. Could Corsair have included those airflow focused panels with the 7000X? Absolutely. I guess I could whine and complain about pricing all day long, but in reality, in today's world, tech isn't getting any cheaper. Alright guys, that's going to conclude my look at Corsair's iCUE 7000X RGB full tower case. If you could like and subscribe, that would be awesome. I'll see you in the next one.